Now, I'm not sure if I can tell the future, but I can probably tell you what's happened in your past. You probably bought your homeowner's insurance when you purchased your house, maybe 15, 20 years ago, maybe even more recent than that. But back then, your premium was maybe $1,500, $2,000 a year, and it felt reasonable, responsible at the time. But now that's climbed. It's $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, maybe even $6,000 in premiums that you're paying every single year to insure your home. Because that's what responsible homeowners do. Then something finally happens. You either have a pipe burst, water starts creeping across your ceiling, or maybe even a storm has torn up your roof. And so you do what you've been doing the right thing for, and that's making a claim on your insurance. So you call out an adjuster, they inspect the property, they take photos, and they write an estimate. And then you hear this: that's not enough damage to exceed the deductible. Now, most people hear that and they immediately think that my damage isn't covered, this claim is over with, but usually that's not what it means. Under the deductible does not mean your damage is not covered. What it usually means is that your insurance company agrees that something is damaged. They just don't agree how much it costs to fix it, or they don't agree with everything that actually needs to be fixed. That's a very different conversation than my damage is not covered. Because now the real question becomes, are we disagreeing about price, or are we disagreeing about the scope or what needs to be covered? Most insurance disputes aren't about coverage. They're about scope. So what your insurance company is saying at this point is, we agree that something is damaged, but it's not as expensive as you think. Or they're saying we're only fixing part of the problem. Those two disagreements lead to very different outcomes if you view it that way. But insurance companies don't want you to know that, and they don't explain it that way. Because once you accept under the deductible as the end of the story, the claim closes quietly, floats off into Neverland. Most homeowners never realize that they were never told what was actually being disputed. And that misunderstanding between coverage, scope, and cost is exactly why deductibles are so widely misunderstood. If any of this sounds familiar, let me briefly explain who I am and why this channel exists. My name is Cedrick. I am an insurance attorney, and I handle insurance claims and insurance disputes between homeowners and their insurance company. I'm not trying to scare you, and I'm not trying to tell everyone to sue their insurance company, but I want to help homeowners understand how insurance actually works, because most people have been misled about the most important parts of their policy, the deductible. Most homeowners believe this: if the damage isn't over my deductible, insurance doesn't pay anything. That sounds logical. It's simple, and it's what most homeowners have been led to believe by their insurance carrier. But a deductible isn't a coverage threshold. It's not a gate that says below this number you get nothing. A deductible is simply your share of a covered loss. So think of it like that, and that distinction matters. A deductible doesn't decide coverage, it decides who pays what. Your insurance company says your damage is $9,000, so they close the claim, and that's because that's under your deductible. Let's say it's $11,000. So here's the question that most homeowners never ask: is it not covered, or do we just disagree on the amount? Because those are two completely different issues. If damage isn't covered under the policy, that's a policy question. But if damage is covered and the dispute is about how much, that conversation shouldn't end at the deductible. It should start there. In another video, I'll break down how estimates are intentionally or structurally written just low enough to land under your deductible number. You'll be surprised how often that really happens. So the next question becomes obvious. Why does damage end up under the deductible so often? It's not because adjusters are lazy, and it's not always because they're dishonest. It's because of how the system is actually designed and how they're trained by their carrier. Adjusters have a very specific role. They're not there to redesign your home. They're not there to think about long-term consequences or what other latent issues may be there because of your damage. And they're not there to interpret gray areas in their favor, even though the law says they should. They're in there to inspect quickly, estimate narrowly, and move the claim forward. Speed matters, consistency matters. In insurance, speed matters more than accuracy. So damage gets missed without anyone lying because they focused on visible damage, not what's underneath. They use pricing software that doesn't really use real world costs. They don't account for the quality of your materials. They will miss what actually needs to be done, or they'll put certain damages under just wear and tear. Claims aren't denied, they're scoped low, and they do it purposefully. And that framing or that scoping is what controls your payout. The reality in insurance is insurance companies don't make money by writing checks. They make money by collecting premiums, paying claims selectively, and resolving most claims without resistance. A claim under the deductible costs them nothing. A fast claim costs them less. An unchallenged claim becomes precedent. So it isn't personal, it's math. It's their business math. And here's the part that most homeowners never hear out loud. Insurance companies expect a percentage of claims to escalate. They do. It's in their business model. Public adjusters, engineers, consultants, attorneys, that resistance is built into the business model. What isn't expected is most people to do it. Most people stop early. Most people accept that first answer below the deductible. Most people assume the system is explaining itself honestly. And the system works because of that assumption. Insurance works best when homeowners don't challenge it. When people say, I shouldn't have to hire a lawyer for this, they're not wrong. You shouldn't have to do this. You shouldn't have to hire a lawyer for something that you paid for years. But they're also not describing how the system actually works. Insurance is designed to resolve the easy claims easily and to test the rest. That's why knowledge matters. Because once you understand how deductibles really work, how damage really gets scoped, and why first inspections miss the full picture almost intentionally, you stop seeing the denial as the end of the road and you start seeing it as just part of the process. Most claims don't fail, but homeowners just stop too early. So the reason why I've made this channel is to explain that process. Plain English, no scare tactics. Whether that means learning the right questions to ask, understanding when a second look matters, or knowing when outside help becomes less of an option and more of a necessity, not to fight, not to threaten, but just to level the playing field and to get you what you deserve.